career advisor is first there to give you some tips on crafting a resume, interviewing, different necessary, but I guess more basic skills that you'll need throughout the job and internship interview process. From there, you could utilize some of our larger resources. So we have things that are called treks. Treks are industry-specific excursions that happen throughout the country, actually throughout the entire world. So students that are interested in journalism, arts, and media every year can take a trek to England, where in the past they visited the BBC, they've spoken to broadcasters, journalists from the BBC, producers. They've also visited a British Art Museum where they've spoken to both an artistic director as well as someone in management. So these give you a 360-degree view of a specific industry. Alongside treks, we also offer externships. Externships are job shadowing opportunities that happen during winter break and spring break, typically with UChicago alums. Not only are they a great networking opportunity, but they're also a great opportunity for you to learn about a potential future career. So I do have an example of externship being very, very helpful for one of my good friends. So one of my good friends, as a freshman at UChicago, told me that he wanted to be an anesthesiologist. I saw him a few months later, and he told me he wanted to be a pediatric oncologist. And I asked him why. I thought you wanted to be an anesthesiologist. Well, he said that he participated in a very successful externship with a pediatric oncologist at the University of Chicago Hospital, and because of that, that's what he wanted to do. So you could learn a lot about a potential future career by participating in these externships. We also have these pre-professional programs called the UChicago Careers In programs. They are in everything from business to law, health professions, education professions, public policy and service, journalism, arts, media, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, entrepreneurship. So these programs are on our campus, and they're led by industry specialists. You get one-on-one advising with these specialists. You'll also have internship opportunities through them. You'll have panel discussions, workshops, grad school app support. So they're a long-term method for you to be successful beyond graduation. Finally, we offer internships. Through a program called the Jeff Metcalf Internship Program, we offer just about 2,000 internships that are specifically for our students. They're paid and they're substantive in nature. So, that was a really loaded sentence. I'm going to break that down for you further. One is that we offer about 2,000 internships specifically for our students. So large companies across a wide array of industries, everything from JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Google, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Microsoft, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, the Lyric Opera of Chicago. They come to the University of Chicago and they say that they want UChicago students to intern for them. It's not like you're competing against the entire country or the entire world for that internship that you want. Secondly, these internships are paid. You'll receive a minimum of $4,000 per 10-week summer internship that you have through this program. Finally, these are substantive in nature. So you may have heard of, seen, maybe even been a part of what I like to think of as a stereotypical internship, where all you're doing is making copies, getting coffees for a supervisor, and it's not really a meaningful experience. That's not at all what the internships that we sponsor are like. In fact, if we find out that a company was only making our students do these small, mundane types of tasks, we'll completely cut ties with that company, because we know how important it is for you to receive the hands-on skills necessary beyond graduation. And overall, because of the various career resources that I've been telling you about and that we have at UChicago, by the time that students graduate, over 93% of them have a job, are in graduate school, have some type of placement. So that's my overview about academics at UChicago, but before I speak a little bit about student life, admissions, and financial aid, does anyone have any questions on anything I just spoke about? This also gives me a good time to get a drink of water. Okay, and also, I think I'll probably end a little early, so if you do have individual questions, please feel free to come up to me. And like I said, I will give you my email address at the end of this. You'll get some contact info, some pamphlets, brochures, so don't hesitate to contact me at any time if you think of questions after today. But as far as student life is concerned, I always like to start off this portion of the talk by giving you a very, very short, personal story. So when I went to, Sandbergen High School, I had the same exact routine every day, right? I'd wake up at, I don't know, 7 o'clock, head to school by, I don't know, 8:15. Back in my day, we started at 8:30. Sorry, you started at 8. I would, have my classes until 3. Have my after-school activities, whether it was, speech in the fall, winter, tennis in the spring. Go home, eat dinner, do my homework, go to sleep, repeat. Like I said, I had the same exact routine every day throughout high school, and a lot of you do have this very, very set routine, but that's not really what college is like. In college, there's a lot more freedom, and with that freedom, you're going to be a part of a variety of communities. The very first community you'll be a part of as a UChicago student is called your house. Each one of our dorms is broken down into these smaller units, which are called houses. Houses have about 50 to 100 students that share communal spaces like, I don't know, a TV area, a lounge, a kitchen, quiet study areas, computer spaces. They're places where you can be productive and also socialize. Each house also has layers of support. Houses have resident heads and resident assistants. Resident heads are typically graduate students or staff members of the university. We like to think of them as the cool aunt or uncle of the house. Resident assistants are 3rd or 4th year undergraduates. We like to think of them as the older brother or sister. The reason that I make these comparisons to an aunt or uncle or an older brother or sister is because they're not your stereotypical heads of dorms, that you'll see in movies, TV shows, read about in books that are telling you to go to bed, do your homework, be quiet, things like that. Rather, they're more, like I said, of layers of support, giving you any academic, social, career advice and support that you want. They also cook for our students, take them on different trips throughout the city of Chicago. So they're especially important given that big transition from high school into college. Houses also have their own cultures, their own traditions. My house every year used to go lawn bowling. We host our own auction. We were big in intramural sports. One house even does something that's called an awkward date night. So I don't know much about that, but they have a lot of fun doing it, and you become really close with one another through these traditions. Finally, houses have their own tables in the dining hall. So from the time the dining hall opens until it closes, you'll always have someone to sit with. You're never required to sit at your house table. There is open seating in each of our 3 dining halls, but that option is always there for you. So overall, your house is naturally your first group of friends on campus. It's the people you're first surrounded by, but more often than not, it ends up becoming your best group of friends. It's really like an extended family. Another community that you can be a part of is our recognized student organization community. So we have over 400 recognized student organizations on our campus, what you think of as a club in high school. So these range from everything like the untraditional, like a Quidditch club or a zombie readiness task force that's getting ready for the zombie apocalypse, to more practical organizations like a Model United Nations team, which has been ranked first in North America for the past 2 years. We have a school newspaper, we have a debate society, trial, and then we have startup organizations as well, where if you're interested in a club that's actually not already in place, that's not one of the 400, you can make a proposal to make that into an organization, and the university will give you the funding as well as organizational support to make that established on campus. And I actually have some experience doing this. So when I was a sophomore in college, we didn't have a TV station in place. A group of friends and I got together, we made a proposal, and we were able to create UChicago's first ever television station, where with the financial support, the organizational support that the university gave us, we were able to broadcast news, sports, drama series, sitcoms, different events, and we wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for the support that the university gave us. So any idea that you have, you can make that into an organization at UChicago. Another community that you can be a part of is athletics. We have 19 NCAA Division III teams. We play at the highest level of D3, yet at the same time, we really value the student portion of student athlete. We also have club sports. Club sports still at a very high level, but they're not as much of a time commitment as varsity athletics. A lot of them still travel throughout the country, play at a high level, but you put as much or as little time into a club sport as you would like. Finally, we have intramurals. So very much like in Harry Potter, houses compete against one another in a wide variety of intramural sports. Everything from your more traditional sports like basketball, soccer, volleyball, tennis, to some more untraditional sports like inner tube water polo or broomball, which is kind of like hockey, except you're still playing in an ice rink, except instead of playing with hockey sticks, you're playing with brooms instead of playing with